welcome to Go for Lunch. Now, we seem to be having a little audio problem. So, Bob, can you tell me if you're hearing music in the background? And I don't know why that music is playing. So let's just mute that music here. And it doesn't go away. So somehow I am playing. Okay, Leslie Ann. Okay, so that music is coming from my broadcast. And I don't know why. So it's a delay. So we are having a delay, right? Not now. Okay, I don't know why it's coming out of my speakers when it's not supposed to. So we're going to switch. So this is really interesting. What if we mute it? Let's see if that does the trick. So sorry about the technical glitch here. And that did not do the trick, I don't think. Okay. Let's see if I say mute. And it goes away. So thank you everybody for joining. And again, I don't know that fixed it. Okay, just to confirm, Bob, you're not hearing double audio. So Susan says no music now. Thank you, Susan. Yeah. Well, thanks for pointing that out, Susan. So I didn't upgrade my eCam software before the program because that's always a bad idea. So it should have been the same as last week. But anyway, if you can't hear the double music, hello, Helen. We will just get on with the show. What do you say? So hopefully eCam is doing the echo cancellation. Maybe that's what's wrong. So excuse me, I'm going to check one thing here and see if echo cancellation is turned on. And mic delay, let's see here, automatically mute the microphone. No, that's not it. And that's got the right device. And it looks like maybe we hit that one. See what happens. Okay. All right. I can handle it. I'm a highly trained professional. So welcome, and let's get this show on the road. And first thing we have to do is get to our first slide, because I was so interested in solving this audio problem that I didn't have my slides set. So here we go. Welcome to Go for Lunch. And this is the Blue Origin edition of Go for Lunch, celebrating the first human flight by Blue Origin on their commercial spacecraft, which went up and came down early this morning, and it all went according to plan. So I really appreciate Jeff Bezos scheduling that launch so it didn't interfere with Go for Lunch. Teamwork. That's what I like. So why not talk about Bluetooth on the Blue Origin Day? So this is Go for Lunch number 63. If you're new here, please type new in the comments so we can get to know you. I'm Roger Harmon with GoFor Technology, where we make your technology work for you. So today we're going to find out what is this Bluetooth technology and what should we know to make it work for us. So Bluetooth is a short-range two-way radio transmission system. It operates on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency spectrum. Why are we pointing out its frequency? Because also in your house you have another device that operates on 2.4. It's called Wi-Fi. So Wi-Fi operates on 2.4 as well as 5 gigahertz. So sometimes that can be problematic with YouTube. No, I'm sorry, with the Bluetooth here on YouTube and other places. Your microwave oven is also operating on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency range. So if someone is zapping something in the microwave, that could be a reason for intermittent Bluetooth interference. Are there different types of Bluetooth? Why, yes, there are. So it started back in 1989, and they kept improving it. And then with Bluetooth version 4, they added something which is really significant called BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy. And that simply means that the energy taken up by your Bluetooth device is lower, so that means your battery will last longer. So let's go back here and see who else has joined us. So thank you. And Leslie Ann, you're wondering where Bluetooth came from. Well, we're going to answer that question in just a second. And Barbara's here. Glad to see you all here. So let's jump back in here and talk about version 5. So the current version of Bluetooth is 5.2, which came out at the end of 2019. And they added something else to the performance of Bluetooth. And that was more range. So when Bluetooth started out, it had a range of about 33 feet. Now that is ideal. We'll talk about that in just a second. Bluetooth 4 then increased that range to an ideal of 330 feet. And then Bluetooth 5 even increased it more to a theoretical, underline theoretical, range of 1,000 feet. And answer to your question, Leslie Ann. So here's the story. It seems like the engineer that was developing Bluetooth, one of the engineers, back in 1989, took my voice away. It was so exciting back then. He was reading a book about Vikings, and the king of that 10th century era was named Herod Bluetooth. So now you know the rest of the story. So what devices use Bluetooth? Of course, we have earphones that use Bluetooth. Now, because of the reliability issues that we're going to talk about in depth today, I don't use wireless earphones because I need more reliability. So earphones are the ones that stick in your ear. Headphones are the ones that go over your head. So there's lots of different Bluetooth headphones out there. Then we have hearing aids. So a lot of modern hearing aids use Bluetooth so they can connect to your iPhone, make your life easier so you can hear things from your iPhone right directly in your hearing aids. The ideal hearing aid would be that it uses the microphones in your hearing aid to talk to the iPhone, but to do that today it costs like $5,000–6,000, and I'm waiting for that price to come down. Just a little side note on hearing aids. There was an executive order signed recently that makes hearing aids available over the counter, so they can't only get them from hearing aid manufacturers now. So that will increase the competition, hopefully increase the features and the quality while lowering the price of hearing aids. Speakers, another frequent use of Bluetooth. A little speaker like this, or even big speakers, can operate on Bluetooth. Automobiles, many of, if not all, your late model cars have a Bluetooth system built into their infotainment system that lets you, again, connect your iPhone to your car so you can hear your music and make phone calls through Bluetooth. And of course, watches and other fitness devices can use Bluetooth. An example of that is when I go to the gym and I get on the Stairmaster, I just simply put my watch on the control panel of the Stairmaster and it pairs with the Stairmaster, and then I can see my heart rate on the display on the Stairmaster, and it also, of course, puts my stats of my exercise into my health app. So that's another neat little way that Bluetooth works with other devices. And of course, it works with computers, iPhones, iPads, your speech-enabled devices such as the Amazon Echo. Some cameras use Bluetooth. And sometimes you have devices that you'd like to work on Bluetooth, but they don't have it built in. So you can get a little guy like this, which is a Bluetooth transmitter. Now, if you wanted to use that for a television to transmit the audio of the television to a earphone or headphone, it probably wouldn't work with a modern television because modern televisions don't have analog audio outs anymore. Now, a few of them do, but as a general rule, they have an optical audio out. So you would either have to get one of these devices with optical audio, or you would have to get another adapter that would convert this analog to optical so you could hear the sound of the TV either on a headphone or a speaker that is closer to you, which would make the intelligibility better. Another area of Bluetooth devices is the Internet of Things. So that includes door locks, lights and light switches, sensors, for example, would tell you that your garage door is open. And hopefully you could then remotely close it through your iPhone, keyboards, mice and trackpads. And let's talk about the unreliability issues of Bluetooth. So, because it is a radio technology, it is prone to interference. So when you're in a place where there's a lot of Bluetooth devices like the gym, or maybe a large office space, or any crowded place, a convention hall, for example, then there's a lot of Bluetooth devices, a lot of radio transmitters and receivers vying for the same bandwidth, and sometimes they don't work as well as you would like. Sometimes they combine frequencies and come out on a different frequency. So there's lots of different problems. Another issue that you may not be aware of is some modern hard drives, for example, use USB 3.0, which is good because it's faster way of transferring data between your computer and your hard drive. But they found out that it also transmits on the 2.4 gigahertz frequency range and interferes with Bluetooth. So the solution to that would be first to troubleshoot it by disconnecting it, see if the interference goes away. If it does, then the second step would be to get a longer USB cable, move that hard drive away from the computer or Bluetooth device, and that should stop the interference. So sometimes you just get out of range. You know, you want to do something, your device, like your iPhone, is in one room and you want to do something in the other room. You've got your Bluetooth headphones on and you just get too far away. So quality control can be a factor. The better the quality control, the less unreliability or reliability problems you're going to have. Sometimes your Bluetooth device will work differently on your iPhone and iPad as it does on your Mac. So you need to think about that. So pairing is how you connect to your Bluetooth device originally, and um, you then have to sometimes repair a device. So there's no standard when you pair your Bluetooth device. So different manufacturers do it in different ways. They usually have colored LEDs. Sometimes they're green, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're red, sometimes they flash red and blue. You know, you just have to read the instructions to find out what happens. So here's a pro tip. When you get a new Bluetooth device, in your note-taking app, write down how you pair that device to your iPhone or Mac or both. So you want to store those pairing instructions. You also want to store either a URL to the actual owner's manual or the PDF itself that is the owner's manual, so you can instantly find that when you need it. So here's what I have stored, for example. So I have a Bose Bluetooth headset here, neat little device. And so another tip here is, you notice at the top, if you can read that, I bought the device in 2014. And so the first section there shows you how to pair it normally, okay? And then the second section shows you how to pair it when the first way doesn't work. So it's a little more complicated. So let me kind of demonstrate that here. So here we have the Bluetooth headset from Bose. So the first thing we have to do, and I'm going to keep moving this a little bit because it's, you know, black on black, it's hard to see, but there's the first thing you have to do, you have to turn it on. So there's a little slide switch here at the bottom. So I'm going to turn this around so you can see what happens when you turn it on. So now you see I turned it on and we got some lights. So in this case, there's a call button. There's 3 buttons on the top. So this one's volume down, volume up, and this other one here, hopefully you can see that as I move it around. The bigger one here is the call button. So again, we're going to put it up here so you can see the lights. And I'm going to hold down the call button, and this should start flashing differently in about 5 seconds. Okay, so now hopefully you saw that the blue light is flashing in a different frequency than it was before, I think. Anyway, you get the idea. So something's going to change on the lights, and then you would go to your iPhone or your iPad. So we can do that here. Okay, and Bob is sending me text. Thank you, Bob. And okay, so let's see if we can put up our iPhone here, and I put it on Do Not Disturb, and it is not working. So we're going to go to Settings. You see here, Bluetooth is the third one down. It's on. And now we're going to scroll to the bottom, and you see there's the Bose BT2. We're going to touch that. So it's trying to pair. So we touch that, and the little gear is going around. The blue light is, oh, look, the blue light turned to red. Let's see if you can see that. So you see it turned colors. Now it went out. And let's see if it's in our list. And there it is. You see, second from the top, the BT2 is there. So it has successfully paired. And now the lights turn off. And that's how that works. Isn't that fun? So let's see here. Okay, so just looking at some of the comments here. Susan is getting some new hearing aids, and Deb is here, all the way from Minnesota. So this is interesting information. Many of you have told me that the best place to get hearing aids is Costco. So Susan's getting new hearing aids with microphones that are built in. So hopefully the point is, and that those cost $1,800 for a pair. And in case anyone who wants to know, the hearing aids are the Jabra brand, which has bought the ReSound company. So Jabra is a brand I've used for many years for audio devices, so that's good to know. And just clarifying that ReSound is now Jabra. So, yes, very good, Leslie Ann. I do have a lot of Bluetooth, mini Bluetooth devices, because I test these, I write reviews on them, and that's why I have a lot of them. So, let's look at why Bluetooth is unreliable. So originally it was just designed to transmit sound, that's all. And then they added these features, which complicated things, like start and stopping your audio, your music, or your enabled your noise cancellation, like when you're on an airplane, you're trying to block out that noise. Now, some of them now have biometric sensors that can read your pulse and other things when you're exercising and send that to your health app. So just by the fact that they're wireless devices just makes them prone to problems. Here's one. The battery must be charged. It's one of those cheap devices. If you don't charge the battery, it just does not work. So you have to plan ahead to use your Bluetooth device. You can't just leave it on the shelf for weeks at a time and pick it up and expect it to work. You have to plan ahead and get that battery charged a few hours or maybe a day before. And while we're talking about batteries, you've got to maintain those batteries. So you have to, keep a schedule is the ideal way of doing it, a preventive maintenance schedule, so that you have a list of your battery operated devices and maybe put it on your calendar to remind you to charge them every month or so if you're not using them, so that the battery life is extended. You can charge them between 50 and 80% usually. Again, check the manufacturer's specifications to see what they recommend, and that way your battery operated device will last longer. We have a Go for Lunch episode on that. So if you go to GoFor Technology on YouTube and search our channel for battery, you will find that. So sometimes the newer Bluetooth devices that do a lot of different things require an app. So if you're missing that app, that could make it unreliable. And they are constantly, many manufacturers, high quality manufacturers, are updating the firmware, which are the instructions that make your Bluetooth device work. So you should check every 6 months or so, see if there's any firmware updates that might fix any reliability problems that you are experiencing. Another situation with Bluetooth devices is that they are designed to work with multiple devices. For example, in those instructions, it said that this little Bose headset can be paired with 6 devices. So what happens is it tries to pair with another device when you don't want it to. So be aware of that situation. So for example, you're listening to audio on your Mac, maybe it's late at night, you don't want to disturb other people in the household, and one of your night owl buddies calls you on your iPhone, so your Bluetooth device switches over to the iPhone. And then your call is over, and you would hope it would switch right back to your Mac, but it may not happen. So again, you need to remember how to switch that back manually, because it may not do it automatically like would be the ideal. Before you buy a Bluetooth device, you want to read the reviews. And I always start with the 1-star reviews. So when I see a comment like, tried to call customer support, never got to speak to a human being, that's a big red flag. Probably I don't want to buy that device. Another thing to consider is the warranty. So if it has a 90-day warranty, you don't want to buy that device. Look for a year or 2-year warranties, because that tells you the manufacturer has faith in their product. The quality of the construction is many times mentioned in a review. So if you see something that says it's cheaply made or it broke a week after I got it, you don't want that device. So any other questions or comments about Bluetooth? And since there is a little delay between the time you type that into the comments, let's talk about some other little issues here. If you haven't already, please subscribe down there at the bottom and ring that little bell. Click on the little bell, you'll be notified every time we come on. It won't be bugging you because we only come on once a week, and occasionally we have some special tech briefings that will pop up, so you'll be notified about those. So please subscribe, and also share the GoFor Gazette so that other people can subscribe. We've got over 60 subscribers now. We need 100 to get a special URL from YouTube, which makes the link to our channel easier for you and everybody to find. So anybody that's using Apple devices, please share the GoFor Gazette with them so that they can join us, subscribe, and get more people watching the YouTube channel. If you have any future topic ideas, I'd like to hear about those, because, for example, today's topic was suggested by Alexis, our producer, and I was glad to have that idea. So we have another little thing that I'd like to mention. So, cable company warrior, or veteran, you might say, that's me. And the reason that's me, for several reasons. Number one, I worked for a company that installed internet in hotels around the country. I was a project manager, and we did eventually, over a 2-year period, 3,000 hotels. And every one of those hotels had to be coordinated with an internet service provider, and in many cases, those were cable companies. So I am very experienced in dealing with cable companies. And of course, as your technology consultant, I deal with Cox Cable and Comcast, and also CenturyLink, which of course is not a cable company but an internet provider, all the time. So let me give you a couple of recent experiences in the last 7 days. Cox, number one, client wanted to cut the cable. Now, of course, when you cut the cable, you're not cutting the internet cable, you're only cutting the other services from the cable company, like television and telephone. So we were trying to provision a new owner purchased cable modem with Cox. And so the person on customer support went through all the things. We gave them the information they needed off the modem. And then he was about ready to flip the switch, and then he started hawing and hemming and stammering and saying, "Oh, I can't do it. I have to switch you over to another department." Well, that other department was loyalty, the loyalty department. So we went and talked to Marina, nice young lady. Well, I'm not sure how nice she was, in the loyalty department, and we could not get her to take off one of the services, which in this case was Home Life, which is the service from Cox that gives you alarm systems and cameras and things like that. She would not take that off. So Thank you for the little thumbs up, whoever did that. So what I did, because I've been through this before, is I boxed up all the equipment that had to be returned anyway before this transition could be completed, and took it down to the Cox store at Broadway and Craycroft, walked in, talked to a nice young man named Ricky, and just said, here's what we want to do. I didn't even tell him about the problems I had on the phone. And he went click, 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 click on his computer screen. And then he said, well, I have to go to the back room to set up the modem. And I said, well, I think the person I talked to on the phone has already provisioned the modem. And he looks at his screen. He says, oh, yeah, it's already here. So he just clicked the button and got the price down to about $80 a month for just internet. I went back to the client's home, and before I even got back there, the internet was working as it should, and his bill was what he expected it to be. So, if you would like to have more information about Bluetooth and its foibles, the article that Alexa found that inspired this show is in the notes below on the YouTube page. So if you look down here, then you will see that, okay, you're not seeing that. So let's go back here. So down below, notes down below. There we go. You didn't get to see my little animation. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. So let's check for some last minute comments here. So Susan asks that her time machine is working, but it's not listed in your Max Finder. Why is that? Okay, so what you need to do, and unfortunately it's really messy. Well, I'll do it anyway. So this is going to be real messy. You're going to see behind the scenes how you fix that. So we're going to go to our desktop, and I have to figure out what button to use because I wasn't planning on doing this. Okay, there's my messy desktop. So this is the eCam. This is the software I use to make all the magic happen. So I'm going to go down here in the dock where I have my system preferences, and then here in the bottom row you see is the time machine icon. I click on that, and right here at the bottom of that window you have to click this little checkbox that says show time machine in the menu bar, and then you can see the menu bar here. So I'm going to quit System Preferences with Command Q, and then up here in the menu bar is the little circle with the arrow in the circle and the clock hands in the center, and that should put your time machine icon back in the menu bar. If that doesn't work, Susan, give me a call and we'll fix it. And so Diana has a good question. How many Bluetooth devices can you have on at once? So that depends on, let's get out of here. So that depends on what that Bluetooth device is doing. If it's a sound device, for example, like a Bluetooth speaker, then you can only have one. So it could either be going to your Bluetooth speaker, the sound from your iPhone, for example, or it can be going to a Bluetooth headset, but it can't be doing both at once. But if it's some other device like your watch, which is on all the time on Bluetooth, so that's working simultaneously. So it just depends on the functionality of the Bluetooth device, whether more than one can be operating at once. Leslie Ann asks if there's too much power from Comcast. So that's another, we're going to work with Leslie Ann after the program here today and see if we can't battle with Comcast to get her Wi-Fi working again. So, okay, so Susan, the only place that Time Machine would appear would be in your, I'm not sure what you mean by in the Finder. So if you click on the on the time machine icon, and then when the drop down menu comes down, the last thing on the menu is open system preference, then I think what you're talking about, it will appear on your screen. So if that doesn't work, again, let me know and we will figure it out. So thank you all for joining. We're going to be back here next Tuesday at high noon for Go for Lunch. As always, if you have any questions, my phone number and email address will be appearing shortly. So I thank you very much and have a great rest of the monsoon week.